ජීවන දෙවිලේ නිතින අප පුබුදු කරන් මාතා ඥාන වීර්ය වඩව මිනරගෙන යතු මැන ජය භූමිකරා එක මවකගේ දරු කැළබැවිනා යමු යමු වී නොපමා ප්‍රේම වඩා සැම භේද දුරරදා නමෝ නමෝ මාතා අප ශ්‍රී ලංකා නමෝ 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 මාතා අප ශ්‍රී ලංකා නමෝ 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 මාතා
I declare the current session of the year 2019 ceremonial graduation postgraduate recommences for the conferment of postgraduate degrees. Very good evening. As the Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo, on behalf of the Chancellor, members of the Council, Rector, Deans, Directors, Registrar, Bursa, Acting Librarian, Academics, Administrators, Non-Academics, and support staff of the University of Colombo, I extend all of you very warm welcome to the Ceremonial Postgraduate Convocation 2019. My heartiest congratulations to all the graduates on achieving your academic and research excellence and earning postgraduate qualifications. Today, we celebrate your achievement of a major milestone in your life. Your commitment to moving forward aimed at the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, economic crisis, political crisis, and social instability in Sri Lanka is highly admirable. We at the University of Colombo are extremely proud of your achievements. Today, you are graduating from the most respected #1 university in Sri Lanka. The University of Colombo was formed by amalgamating Ceylon Medical College, founded in 1870, and the Ceylon University College, founded in 1921, which led to recent celebrations of 150 years anniversary of the Faculty of Medicine and centenary celebrations of the Faculties of Arts, Science, and the main library. Currently, we have 9 faculties, 7 institutes, 1 campus, 1 school with over 25,000 learning partners. Needless to say, you have indeed been fortunate to have entered this prestigious university through a competitive process and to have undergone thorough training and development components during the past few years. Education is a lifelong process, and obtaining an academic degree alone will not produce economic success or responsible citizens. An academic qualification without literacy, professionalism, and entrepreneurial skills will have limited value today's world. The definition of modern literacy covers various aspects such as language literacy, ICT literacy, digital literacy, financial literacy, technological literacy, scientific thinking, value creation, and networking abilities. Hence, I encourage you to move forward and ensure that you become a well-rounded individual contributing to the country's development and success. While the pandemic has created multiple socio-economic rifts, we applaud your resilience as you move forward. May you achieve all your dreams with tenacity, courage, and determination. I am sure that you have the qualities and strengths needed to make progress in your chosen field with honesty and integrity. Address the needs of the disadvantaged in our community with compassion and be a role model to our society. I wish you all the very best in your endeavors. May you have a radiant future ahead. Thank you very much.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa be conferred on Mr. Romesh de Silva, President's Council. Vice Chancellor, it is with great pleasure that I present to you for the conferment of the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa, Mr. Joseph Romesh de Silva, the youngest President's Council ever to have been appointed in Sri Lanka and indisputably a doyen among professionals in our country. Having taken his oath as an advocate of the Supreme Court of the Republic on the 16th June 1971, he completed last year 5 decades in the practice of law. He can certainly look back with profound satisfaction on a remarkable career, in the course of which he has made a contribution of signal value to the development of our law, the refinement of its seminal concepts and principles, filling in gaps to suit the needs of modern times, and nurturing the law as a potent instrument for accomplishment of the public good. Vice Chancellor, there are compelling reasons for the honor which the university confers on him today. His career, built on the unveil of conscience and equity, is a source of inspiration, especially in the minds of the widespread cynicism accompanying the breakdown of values in our society today. Romesh de Silva has been steadfast in his pursuit of justice without slightest tinge of fear or favor. He counts among his clients over the years the most illustrious as well as the humblest in the land. Of him, it can truly be said that he has walked with kings and most not lost the common touch. He has had no hesitation where the cause of justice requires it to appear pro bono and to give his best with no expectation of monetary reward. Among his striking attributes to the empathetic rejection of political partnership in any form, he has represented political leaders across the spectrum with exemplary commitment devoid of any semblance of obligation. In doing so, he has upheld with total consistency the highest traditions of the bar and established a refreshing threshold for professional integrity and rectitude. As an acknowledged leader of the bar, he leaves his indelible imprint on every branch of the law. His career offers eloquent testimony to the reality that the law is not a sterile body of rules to be applied mechanically, but a living, evolving discipline, transformational at its core, responding with perception and constantly adapting to rapidly changing social and economic circumstances. In his hand, and with unrivaled acumen and intellectual serenity, this challenge of adoption and renewal has been met admirably. Absolutely, Ramesh de Silva is a Renaissance personality. He is one of the handful of legal practitioners whose role has been not merely to interpret and apply, but indeed to create substance of the law. He has deeply influenced the development of the law in an awesome array of fields, including medical negligence, injunctive relief in labor law, and the law of defamation, the contours of jurisdiction, the mechanics of enforcement of orders of the Supreme Court in fundamental rights litigation, and a gamut of issues going to the very heart of the individual liberty. Overall, this represents phenomenal contribution to the law and legal system of our country. The call of the public duty has unfailingly found in him a congenial court. With the utmost generosity, he has given freely of his time and expertise to render yeoman service to our people. He has served chairman of the committee of the expert appointed by His Excellency the President to formulate a new constitution for the Republic, responsive to contemporary priorities, to replace the current constitution enacted almost half a century ago. He brought a wealth of experience to bear on his work in the Law Commission of Sri Lanka, to which he gave leadership as chairman for a sustained period of 7 years. A former president of the Bar Association of Sri Lanka, the youngest to have been elected to that prestigious position, the past chairman of the Advisory Committee on Intellectual Property and chairman of the Company Law Advisory Committee and the Registration of Title Advisory Committee, both appointed by the Bar Association. He has left the unmistakable mark of quality on the work of these vital institutions. The fame and renown of Ramesh de Silva has spread far beyond our shores. This is particularly true of his forte commercial law, reflected inter alia in his participation as arbitrator, as counsel in a large number of complex international arbitrations in the United Kingdom, Switzerland, Singapore, and other countries. He has certainly done his country and his profession proud. Professional life, no less than life in any other sphere, is a flowing stream, never still or stagnant. Ramesh de Silva has bequeathed to prosperity an enviable reservoir of talent. At least seven presidents' council have derived benefit from the meticulous training which they received in his chambers, where a firm foundation was laid for their future careers. a well-renowned personality. He excelled in both academia and sport at his alma mater, St. Joseph College, Colombo, where his powers of articulation and his mastery of spoken words were simply demonstrated in his prowess as a debater par excellence. It is indeed a happy reflection that the indication of promise manifested so early in life has attained fulsome fruition in the span of a career which has enriched and invigorated the life of our nation. Vice Chancellor, as a fitting tribute to this achievement of the rarer character, it is my privilege, being the Dean of the premier seat of legal education in this country, which celebrates its 75th Diamond Jubilee, to present Mr. Joseph Romesh de Silva to President's Council to you for conferment of the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa. Vice Chancellor, now I have the honor to invite Dr. Romesh de Silva, President's Council, to deliver the convocation address.
By authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, I confer the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa on Mr. Ramesh de Silva.
May I congratulate all those receiving degrees today. It's a culmination of the sacrifices and dedicated effort of yourself and your parents, and I congratulate you all. Today you finish one chapter and enter another chapter in your life, and I like to leave with you two words: have confidence in yourself, have confidence in confidence, and have confidence in yourself. And in the words of President Obama, just keep repeating, yes I can. And in my own words, yes I can, yes I will. And then in a few years to come, you will reach the pinnacle of your chosen profession. I congratulate you all, and I wish you all the best. Vice Chancellor, professors, associate professors, deans, members of the staff, Your Excellency, the Ambassador for Japan in Sri Lanka, Honorable Professor G.L. Piris, former Vice Chancellor and one of the most distinguished alumni of this university, President's Council, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. I thank Professor Punchiheva for the kind words he extended. I thank you for having conferred on me the degree of the Doctor of Laws. I believe that the degree has been conferred mainly in view of my practice as a lawyer. In that background, let me share a few words on the legal profession and the role of a lawyer in the sense of a pleader or counsel. There are a few words which I wish to emphasize, a few points which I wish to emphasize, and I shall do so in due course. But before I do so, permit me to place it in historical perspective. The earliest known lawyers in Western civilization were advocates in the court of the Areopagus. While the early Greek courts required each man to speak for himself with time, there emerged a class of public speakers who were retained to appear for their fellow denizens. They were orators with a skill of oratory and a talent for persuasion. They had little or no knowledge of the law, and their skill lay in the choice of words, the presentation of the case, the nuances, and the ability to persuade. They had little or no knowledge of the law. The history then perhaps shifts to Rome, and Sims, in his article Problems of the Professional Ethics in the American Bar Journal, states as follows, quote, "One of the fundamental principles of the aristocratic system of early Rome was that the patricians alone should render legal assistance in the administration of justice. Their dependents, as we all know, were called clients, and the part of the duties of patrons to clients was to protect and defend them in their legal rights. Indeed, until the adoption of the 12 tables in 450 BC, clients could not appear alone in court in their causes. Hence came, of course, the application of the term clients to those whom lawyers represent today," unquote. The patricians were nobility, and it is claimed by some that the term noble profession owes its origin to the patrician defending their dependents. The system of Rome evolved with others being permitted to represent clients, and such persons required knowledge of the law and were termed jurisconsults, who took pains to distinguish themselves from unruly orators. Their background permitted the luxury of working for little or no fees. With the tide of time, further changes were introduced. The Emperor Claudius, born in 10 AD, perhaps for the first time, legalized the charging of fees, but regulated the fees that could be charged. The reforms to the legal system and the growing sophistication of Roman law meant that the original orator increasingly required somewhat more than a nodding acquaintance with the law. The distinction between orator and jurisconsult and the gift of persuasion was also with an expert's grasp of the law. So in that evolution, today's successful lawyer retains the same skills, namely the knowledge of the law combined with the art of persuasion. Thus, it is interesting to note that Sims observes in the same article that, quote, "The conception that the bar owed a duty to the public would seem to have no origin in the English law. A bar in the sense of a class of advocates and pleaders before the courts was not even an English institution. The Norman conquerors brought with them lawyers and employed them to establish order and a system of law. However, as Sims says, it was really not before the end of the next 100 years, at the death of Bracton and the ascension of Edward I, that a bar of purely English lawyers had become established. By that time, the nationalizing policy of Henry II had had the effect of forcing the Pope to forbid his ecclesiastics to have anything to do with the temporal courts, and the administration of secular justice has passed over entirely to men adept at the common law. The common law lawyers then separated themselves into barristers and attorneys, and the barristers established for their class special schools of instruction at the Inns of Court, away from the influence of the universities which taught the law of Rome. Across the Park Strait and closer to home, history saw the similar evolution of the learned advisor in the law of wakil, borrowed from the Arabic term dependable into the modern law. In India, a proxy is still sometimes called wakalat nama or wakil patra. Thus, the modern lawyer is an evolutionary product representing the resolution of the tension between orator and jurist. This requires a deep commitment to the two disciplines or crafts, one, the art of persuasion, and second, the science of the law, and a proper combination of both. And in that context, I wish to emphasize the following. First and foremost, the legal profession is not a trade. Article 14(1)(g) of our Constitution states thus: the freedom to engage by himself or in association with others in any lawful occupation, profession, trade, business or enterprise. Thus, the Constitution itself recognizes the difference between a profession on the one hand, a trade or business or enterprise or lawful occupation on the other. A profession is distinct. A legal professional is a distinct species and is distinguishable from a trader in several important ways. The main distinguishing feature is that the primary objective of the legal professional is her duty to the client and to court, and not to the earning of money or even to the development or growing of one's practice. The duty to the client and to the court commences when the assignment is accepted and continues till it is ended. The duty exists irrespective of whether a fee is received or not. The duty is fiduciary vis-a-vis the client with an underlying obligation to court. The emphasis then is in the discharge of duty and not on the consideration received. A fortiori, the quantum of the fee and the identity of the client has no relevance to the discharge of the duty. A lawyer also has to realize his own limitations, his level of competence or incompetence. Never accept a case he is not competent to handle. A lawyer has to be prepared both on the law and on the facts, and never to go to court unprepared. In this context, the following statements made by Puno J. in the Supreme Court of Philippines is relevant. Quote, "It bears emphasis that the law is not a trade nor a craft, but a profession, and a noble profession at that." He goes on to say, quote, "The law must be thought of as ignoring commercial standards of success. The lawyer's conduct is not to be measured by the standards of trade and the counting house, but by those of his profession." He further says, quote, "The primary characteristics which distinguish the legal profession from business are inter alia a duty of public service by which emolument is a byproduct and in which one may attain the highest eminence without making much money, and B, a relation to client in the highest degree fiduciary." Judge John Parker puts it succinctly as, "The practice of the law is a profession, not a business, nor a skilled trade. While the elements of gain are present in both, the difference between a trade and a profession is essentially this: the chief end of business is personal gain. The chief end of a profession is public service. Thus, we remember that our duty is to the client and to court." Secondly, independence. An essential ingredient of a lawyer that he or she be independent. He cannot be under obligation to anyone. He has to have the ability to appear for or against anyone other than for personal reasons. He has to have the ability to appear for a person in one matter and against the same person in another. His philosophical beliefs, inclusive or socio-economic political beliefs, cannot in any way affect the discharge of his duty. the selection of briefs he accepts, or his treatment of clients. A lawyer is never a hired servant of the client. A lawyer is not to be identified with a client's affiliations or alliances, or the client's causes. As Honorable Justice Michael Kirby says, quote, "Lawyers have a duty within the law to advance the interests of their clients fearlessly and to assist the courts in the upholding of the law." He further states, quote, "One of the features of the law that tends to irritate other sources of power is the demand of the law's practitioners, judges and lawyers, for independence. The irritation is often true of politicians, wealthy and powerful people, government officials, media editors and other columnists. Those who are used to being obeyed and feared commonly find it intensely annoying that there is a source of power that they cannot control or by our profession." The cab rank rule. One of the many ethical obligations undertaken by a lawyer is the cab rank rule. The rule, in essence, is that in selecting briefs, a lawyer is no different to a cab driver waiting in line to pick up passengers. The cab driver is obliged to take the passenger to any reachable destination, and no matter who the passenger may be. Similarly, a lawyer is obliged to take any case offered to him in a field and in a court to which he is competent to practice. There are narrow exceptions to the rule, which are not necessary to set out in this point. The cab rank rule is described in Lord Denning's customary rule when he says, quote, "A barrister cannot pick or choose his clients. He is bound to accept the brief for any man who comes before the courts, no matter how great a rascal the man may be, no matter how given to complaining, no matter how undeserving or unpopular his cause, the barrister must defend to the end." Lord Pierce states somewhat differently, quote, "It is easier, pleasanter, and more advantaged professionally for barristers to advise, represent, or defend those who are decent and reasonable and likely to succeed in their action, rather than defend those who are unpleasant, unreasonable, disreputable, and apparently have a lost cause. Yet it would be tragic if our legal system came to provide no reputable defenders, representatives, or advisors for the latter, and that would be the inevitable result of allowing barristers to pick and choose their clients." Unquote. In this connection, I wish to highlight an important matter. Lawyers must bear in mind that they should never, ever seek to ennoble themselves with the popularity of the virtue of the cause of the client they represent. The other side of the same coin is to believe that lawyers are to be tainted by the unpopularity of their client or the client's cause. That would indeed be, in the words of Lord Pierce, tragic. While there is a natural temptation for a lawyer to enjoy the adulation that accompanies his defense of a virtuous cause, he must remember that a corollary to this seemingly harmless human pleasure is dangerous to the rule of law. The virtue of a lawyer should never be judged by the virtue of his client, by the discharge of his duty to the client, whoever the client may be, and his duty to court. In summary then, I wish to emphasize that A, remuneration should not and cannot be the primary consideration of a lawyer. B, the lawyer has to be fiercely independent. C, a lawyer can never be dictated to by the client or be a slave to him. And D, the lawyer has a duty to court and to his client, which he should properly discharge. These views and principles are, in my view, sacrosanct and not subject to compromise. Yet I understand the difficulties of the younger generation of lawyers to adhere to such principles, given the realistic socio-economic background from which they come. In the early years of my practice in general, Lawyers came from the backgrounds which gave them the luxury of not being too dependent on the income they received from the profession. However, today, the realistic situation is different, and the persons takes oaths as lawyers in the background of several sacrifices of parents with the hope and expectation that their child would enter a profession and be able to have a life more comfortable than their own. This problem has to be solved, particularly with the overcrowding of the profession. This is neither the time nor the place to go into the details, but I just highlight the problem. Secondly, the concept of the lawyer as a pleader or counsel has now changed. The pleader or the advocate or counsel specializing in the field has undergone a radical transformation where now one expects a lawyer to be what might be termed as a one-stop shop, to do all the functions expected of him. In this regard, even the traditional firms have combined boardroom lawyers, courtroom lawyers, notaries, and what was previously known as solicitors into one firm. This then requires a somewhat redefining of the place and the role of the pleader in court. The concepts evolved through the centuries in respect of a barrister or advocate, pleader, has to be further evolved in a modern context without, however, compromising on its basic values. In defense of our profession, I quote Justice Cardoso, one of the most eminent jurists, who said, quote, "How many are judging us? How many are judging us not by our best, but by our worst, and are visiting upon one and all of us the scorn and condemnation which should be the portion of the few. The fashion in these times is to dwell upon the shortcomings of the bar and to touch lightly on its virtues," unquote. My friends, Dean of the Faculty of Law, this is an opportune time for me to draw the attention of the academics and in particularly the Faculty of Law to their role in the development of the law. Their research and publications are acknowledged and appreciated. However, the academics, and in particularly the Faculty of Law, should consider their important role in the review of judgments. Today, judges in the superior courts, and in particularly the apex court, write judgments with the air of finality. However, while of course a judgment is final, it is necessary and essential in appropriate circumstances that such judgments be reviewed on the facts and especially on the law. Dean, Faculty of Law, this would provide an interesting forum for the exchange of views on the laws formulated by the judgment. Equally important, it would provide a deterrent for the judges who might then be a little more cautious when articulating the law and from behaving on the bench. I am not frightened to say that there is a great necessity today for a review of the behavior of the judges and the law in the judgments. In this context, Justice Erudite Judge A.R.B. Amarasinghe quotes the famous words of Lord Atkin in Ambard versus Attorney General for Trinidad and Tobago, who said, quote, "Justice is not a cloistered virtue. Clients have a right to criticize government officials and agencies, and the court should not be immune to such criticism." Lord Denning, in the Quinted Hogg case, said, quote, "Let me say at once that we will never use this jurisdiction as a means to uphold our own dignity. That must rest on surer foundations, nor will we use it to suppress those who speak against us. We do not fear criticism nor do we resent it. Unquote. Lord Denning and Justice Amarasinghe have both said that the courts can be criticized. It's time the faculty of law did this. But Lord Denning also said, quote, those who comment can deal faithfully with all that is done in a court of justice. They can say we are mistaken. They can say our decisions are erroneous. All we ask is that those who criticize us will remember that from the nature of our office, we cannot reply to this criticism. We cannot enter into public controversy, still less into political controversy. Therefore, I request you, the Dean, the academics, to without delay review judgments and thus contribute in a significant manner to the development of the law in our beloved motherland, Sri Lanka. Before I end, I would like to place the role of lawyers, the role of all of us, in fact, the role of every single person in perspective. L.D. Walters, the poet, as far back as 1920, said this: the law the lawyers know about is property and land. But why the leaves are on the trees, why the waves disturb the seas, why honey is the food of bees, why horses have such tender knees, why winters come when rivers freeze, why faith is more than one sees, and hope survives the worst disease, and charity is more than these, they do not understand. The values derived from this poem are that a lawyer, in fact, any complete person, to be well-rounded, has to know why leaves are on the trees, why waves disturb the seas. And more important, there is more to life than law and any other profession or trade or occupation. And in particular, the virtues of faith, hope, and charity are basic and fundamental, which brings us back to the proper perspective of placing ourselves, however insignificant as we are, in the world and in the universe, and then reflect upon the creator or source of such universe. I thank you very much.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the degrees of the Doctor of Philosophy and the Master of Philosophy be conferred on those to be presented in person and in absentia by me. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following for the conferment of the research degrees. Doctor of Philosophy, Hassan Yusuf A. Ratnasekara S.U. Ratnayaka R.M.A.K. Karunadasa D.M. De Silva K.S.C. Master of Philosophy, Saman Mali M.A.D. Samara Singha, BGIM. Veerasena, IPLN. Thank you.
By authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, I confer upon those whose names have been read degrees of Doctor of Philosophy and Master of Philosophy.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the degrees of the Doctor of Philosophy and the Master of Philosophy be conferred on those to be presented in person and in absentia by me. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following for the conferment of the research degrees of Doctor of Philosophy and Master of Philosophy. Doctor of Philosophy, Fernando IHS. Mirihana MKSH. Tennakorn SR. Master of Philosophy, Aberatna AHMGRJ. Amaravira PRHN. Dharmasiri RSKK. Gunasingha JKCY. Hemaratna WSS. Indigahavela TWV. Indrajit UGDN. Olof NB. Salgado SM. Samaravira GIDPNMD. Thank you, sir.
By authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, I confer upon those whose names have been read degree of Doctor of Philosophy and Master of Philosophy.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the degrees of the Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Philosophy, and the Master of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology be conferred on those to be presented in person and in absentia by me. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following for the conferment of the master's degrees. Doctor of Philosophy. Ahankame, NC. Gurge, TPSR. Herath, HMTS. Kumarasinghe, KWGK. Kumari, JS. Magajid Dafi. Mahroof, SR. Mendis, BRC. Mihindu Kulasuriye, JGP. Pandiratne, AS. Pereira, KC. Pinnavale, PHA. Senaratne, WB. Tisera, MHMR. Veeraratne, LRNC. Master of Philosophy. Aryaratne, BARR. De Silva, LM. Edirsinga, AA. Yaratne, DMNM. Korala, AKAS. Master of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology. Amarasegara, DM. Arambevele, UI. Arif, FAA. Borlese, PTDS. Faiz, FH. Fernando, MJT. Gunatilake, WARNMT. Gunasinghe, UL. Pieratne, AV. Thank you, sir.
By authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, I confer upon those whose names have been read degrees of Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Philosophy, and Master of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the degree of Doctor of Philosophy be conferred on those to be present in person and in absentia by me. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following for the conferment of the Doctor of Philosophy. Faculty of Law, Doctor of Philosophy, Lianage, DSEUVS. Vikramaratna, KHJR. Thank you, sir.
By authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, I confer upon those whose names have been read degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the degrees of the Doctor of Philosophy and the Master of Philosophy be conferred on those to be presented in person and in absentia by me. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following for the conferment of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and Master of Philosophy. Baranavan, you. Chandratilaka, KRM. Karunaratna, GHRE. Nadish Kumar, A. Sirisena, UND. Veta Singha, AH. Master of Philosophy. Mahendran, R. Vijaysurya, MWA, HD. Thank you, sir.
By authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, I confer upon those whose names have been read degrees of Doctor of Philosophy and the Master of Philosophy.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the degrees of the Doctor of Philosophy and the Master of Philosophy be conferred on those to be presented in person and in absentia by me. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following for the conferment of the Doctor of Philosophy and the Master of Philosophy. Doctor of Philosophy, Abhevardhana JAMRC, Fernando TSP, Kumari WMNH, Lianarachi GD, Maya Kaduwa DMRG, Mendis MU, Nanakara S, Pannila EARL, Piris HOW, Pereira SD, Rajapaksha CR, Ranasinghe RKRS, Ratnayaka PPAMSI, Samaravikrama DS, Sapumange NC, Sirivardhana IW, Somaratna MBCL, Totagamuwa AMW, Batupola KBWM RAI, Vikramasinghe WRMNK, Master of Philosophy, Bandara DMVYS, Hevadikaram EHADK, Jayakodi JADMN, Piris TCT. Thank you.
By authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, I confer upon those whose names have been read degrees of Doctor of Philosophy and Master of Philosophy.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the degree of Doctor of Philosophy be conferred on those to be present in person and in absentia by me. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following for the conferment of the Doctor of Philosophy. Baragamarachi R.Y. Gunasekara D.L.P.E. Thank you, sir.
By authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, I confer upon those whose names have been read degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the degrees of Master of Philosophy be conferred on those to be presented in person and in absentia by me. Vice Chancellor, sir, I have the honor to present the following 3 graduates for the conferment of the Master of Philosophy. Fasina J.F. Madanayaka R.S. Ramanayaka S. Thank you, sir.
By authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, I confer upon those whose names have been read degree of Master of Philosophy.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the degree of Doctor of Medicine be conferred on those to be presented in person and in absentia by me. Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following for the conferment of the Doctor of Medicine. Doctor of Medicine in Anesthesiology, Abevardhana C.Y., Amarasiri T.T., Arabepola W.S.N.W.B. M.A.G., Bandara K.M.K.C., Bhavani S. Dasanayaka T.M.S.A., Deyagala D.A.L.H., Dharmadasa H.P.C., Ekanayaka E.M.D.B., Ekanayaka P.K.K., Fernando W.P.A.C., Gunaratna H.G.T.D., Herath H.M.S.C.N.B., Jairatna L.B.A.R., Kaushalya M.T.G., Kerner L.P.V.P., Kinoshan AF, Krishantha, KAD, Manamperi, CR, Mankaleshan, S, Munasingha, MBA, Nadishani, LR, Nanaruan, KAN, Nimal Shantha, DAID, Patiraja, KH, Pereira, HLHI, Pereira, LTI, Pereira, MNJM, Pereira, WSN, Ferdinandis, IGH, Rajasiri, LP, Saritharan, S, Selvapalan, D, Senaviratna, DMSR, Senthuran, R, Sirivardhana, KDYR, Sivadeepan, S, Tevaki, N, Tilipan, G, Uduwela, CD, Vidana Patirana, BN, Vaga Arachige, YA, Veerasinghe, NAA, Vikramasuriya, TK, Vilgamua, MMHKB, Doctor of Medicine in Chemical Pathology, Sanjeevani, JAP, Doctor of Medicine, Clinical Nutrition, Kurukula Arachi, SP, Ranavaka, MPG, Rushdi, MAA, Sitamparapille K, Vikramasekara TD, Yayavira JRT, Doctor of Medicine in Clinical Oncology, Malinda RAY, Piyasiri WJT, Rupasinghe TM, Taranga TDP, Vijayasekara SG, Vijayasirivardhana SE, Doctor of Medicine in Clinical Hematology, Dilhani MN, Gamage VNU, Gamakaranage GAC, Ranasinghe DP, Vikramasinghe YW, Vijay Gunaratna DTE, Doctor of Medicine in Community Dentistry, Jinadasa BKGT, Kosgallana KMSH, Mututantri SA, Udayamali SRMI, Doctor of Medicine, Community Medicine, Alagiyavanna AMADK, Dilhani WNS, Fernando EHK, Fernando TSM, Fonseca HNA, Gauss MBA, Gunatilaka KAMP, Hemachandra CD, Jayasekara SAHD, Kalubovila KC, Lianage NR, Nadika NHS, Pereira KCM, Pereira MGSNS, Pereira WND, Rodrigo UCH, Rupananda ODS, Sivashankar JT, Vijayvardhana KDSC, Vikramarachi CM, Vidana Patirana NDW, Doctor of Medicine in Dermatology, Alahakon TP, Fernando GMO, Kamaladasa PK, Lianage TMU, Mahesha MN, Mufina MNF, Pereira ASD, Pereira GMDM, Tanusha B, Vikramasinghe WAAS, Doctor of Medicine in Emergency Medicine, Abe Gunawardana MASP, Balasuriya BKLN, Bandara MGMA, Bopatha BVKM, Disanayaka DMSG SJ, Fernando SSS, Gamage RSP, Gayan LAI, Herat PAHMMBB, Heva Patirana HLI, Jayavardhana NNS, Jayasundara NS, Lakruan GLA, Madhushankar JKV, Manithipan K, Piris DPSP, Pereira SLADCB, Pirabaka N, Prasanna N, Rajapaksa RGVK, Ranasinghe AM, Rizana V, Sivantiran V, Vijayaratna WMCJB, Vijayanayaka KK, Vijayaratna GDS, Doctor of Medicine in Family Medicine, Disanayaka SH, Doctor of Medicine in Forensic Medicine, Gangahavatta SDS, Kirialla PA, Doctor of Medicine in Health Informatics, Aryaratna MHB, Dayaratna MKDRB, De Silva MGPS, Hapudenia HWMM, Jayaratna LRAB, Jayatilaka AMA, Kulatunga GGAK, Liyanage PC, Manoj MS, Pereira MUT, Piyasena MGY, Prabhat LAN, Ranatunga PEKB, Ranwala RADLMK, Senanayaka SDPS, Sirivardhana LSANT, Silva KKP, Veerabhaddana C, Vijayavira WKDKK, Doctor of Medicine in Histopathology, De Silva LDS, Gayani GHP, Jayatilaka TMAH, Jinadasa GIM, Kodituaku NAA, Silva KGH, Tilini HGD, Vigneswaran V, Vikramaratna EKDM, Yogananda PN, Doctor of Medicine in Medical Administration, Alaha Peruma D, Amarasingha PVNP, Dilrukshi DARK, Koggalage PD, Liyanage DH, Loganathan NC, Maduragoda AP, Mallavarachi SMNSM, Marantota MCM, Priyangani YMM, Ranasingha GSP. Ranga SDUM, Samarakon DS, Sandanayaka AP, Vanninayaka WMIK, Vijay Gunasekara JLHR, Doctor of Medicine in Medical Education, Karunaratna WCD, Priyananda R, Doctor of Medicine in Medical Microbiology, Chintamani PR, Devakantan B, Diyalagoda DPKE, Galagedara WD, Liyanage IA, Shantakumara WDDI. Sugatadasa MRDN, Vanagi Nayaka YC, Veerakon DN, Velagedara PGRIS, Doctor of Medicine in Medical Virology, Vitanage VH, Doctor of Medicine Ophthalmology, Baranage DD, Disanayaka DMMAK, Gamage DGDS, Jayavikrama N, Kanishka KGN, Kirtisena GSP, Ranavira KKDSB, Rubasingha DM, Senaratna KK, Somavira SWR, Vidanage GJN, Vijay DMGC, Doctor of Medicine in Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery, Haushigan J, Indika MAT. Jayasingha LAH, Jayasundara KS, Ratnatilaka RSWMK, Tavaraja M, Doctor of Medicine in Oral Pathology, Utpali GN, Doctor of Medicine in Orthodontics, Mithula W, Doctor of Medicine in Orthopedic Surgery, Amaravira PC, Balakumaran T, De Silva SSL, Ile Peruma MR, Kalaventan P, Kumara BAIS, Nihaj MRA, Paranagama AJ, Parthipan B, Pitagampalage PR, Vijay Singha PCI, Zafraz MEZM, Doctor of Medicine in Otorhinolaryngology, Jayasena KDNUD, Kumara SPP, Udayani LADN, Varnasuriya WAN, Doctor of Medicine in Pediatrics, Kure MSK, De Silva UAMD, Gunaratna RASP, Gunasekara UKTS, Gunatilaka MDGN, Guruge MST, Hartik G, Hassan MHSM, Hemachandra KPMS, Jayamana MDCJP, Jayasundara RJMKA, Kanan K. Arachi KPP, Lakmini BC, Manoj Kumar M, Muthukumarana TGW, Nazmi MHM, Ranavaka MRSUC, Rangana MAD, Ratnasiri GBAM, Rojita S. Sampath MGU, Senanayaka SMUS, Sriya Singha AT, Tavaratnam T, Udagedara CP, Vitana SR, Vikramaratna KPKAS, Vijayalat WASA, Doctor of Medicine in Psychiatry, Adhikaram DRS, Amaratunga S, Arachi MK, Chamara JMDG, Disanayaka PGI, Fernando AM, Galhenage JS, Kumburegedara RWMSB, Mafaz MGM, Netta Singha NMPJ, Pereira NIC, Pereira OTD, Pereira WMTM, Rajaratnam K, Silva LC, Umaharan T, Vidusha HKD, Vikramaratna DDMS, Vijay Singha PDLR, Doctor of Medicine in Restorative Dentistry, Disanayaka HMSC, Mayuri HM, Pradeepika LAA, Doctor of Medicine in Transfusion Medicine, Krishna Pille M, Premaratna EAPM, Subhasingha WDM, Doctor of Medicine in Radiology, Bandara WRSM, Duminda WD, Herat HMDC, Jagoda DSD, Jayasingha Arachi DNK, Lanka PVHK, Lakmal KVAR, Mafasa MSF, Ratnayaka PGRS, Samaravira DPK, Shamali HDN, Vijayapala MHWMN, Yapa SWCRYMGCK, Doctor of Medicine in Venereology, Columbage PMH, Fernando MPRY, Irosha APU, Jayasingha LBHC, Pereira TDRN, Takshagini M, Vijay Singha WAHP, Vijay Vikrama KN. Thank you, sir.
By authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, I confer upon those whose names have been read degree of Doctor of Medicine.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the gold medals and prizes be awarded to those to be presented for having achieved the highest standard of academic excellence. Dr. Thisal Jayawardena Gold Medal for the most outstanding candidate at the MD Anesthesiology. March, April 2019, DALH Deyagala. August 2019 examination, TT Amarasiri. The ACEM PGIM Gold Medal for Emergency Medicine, October 2019, BVKM Bopatta. The Dr. P.A. Veerasinghe Gold Medal for Ophthalmology, October 2019, DMMAK Disanayaka. The Dr. Upali Banagala Gold Medal for the Best Student at the MD Orthopedic Surgery, February-March 2019, MZM Zafraz. Dr. Upali Banagala Gold Medal for the Best Student at the MD Orthopedic Surgery, July 2019, PCI Vijay Singha. Professor Priyani E. Soisa Gold Medal for Pediatrics, January-February 2019, non-qualify. July-August 2019, RJMKA Jayasundara. Professor Sanat P. Lamabad Surya Gold Medal for Clinical Pediatrics, January-February 2019, non-qualify. July-August 2019, RJMKA Jayasundara. PGIM Health Informatics Society of Sri Lanka Gold Medal for MD Health Informatics, SDPS Senanayaka. The Dr. H.K.T. Fernando Gold Medal for Clinical Oncology 2019, non-qualify. The Professor Andrew Sims Gold Medal for Psychiatry, October 2019, non-qualify. Thank you, sir.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the Faculty of Management Finance Vice Chancellor Awards for Research Excellence be presented to Professor T.N. Jayaratne. Tarusha Gunaratne is Chair Professor of Accounting and the coordinator of the Doctor of Business Administration program in the Faculty of Management Finance, University of Colombo. She has also served as the head of the Department of Accounting. She holds a Bachelor of Business Administration and Master of Philosophy degrees from the University of Colombo and the Doctor of Philosophy degree from the La Trobe University, Australia. She was awarded the 18 Spence Gold Medal for Management Accounting for her bachelor's degree and timely completions of thesis award for her PhD. She is a fellow member of the Chartered Institute of Management Accountant, UK, and was awarded the B.R.D. Silva Memorial Prize for the best performance in Sri Lanka in strategic finance management. She has published widely and served as an editorial board member and reviewer for several leading journals and has received numerous awards for research excellence locally and internationally. Vice Chancellor, now I present Professor Tarusha Gunaratne for Research Excellence Award. Thank you.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the Faculty of Medicine Vice Chancellor's Award for Research Excellence be presented to Professor Pujitha Wickramasinghe. Professor Vithanage Pujitha Wickramasinghe is a senior professor in pediatrics in the Faculty of Medicine of the University of Colombo. He is an honorary consultant pediatrician at the Lady Ridgeway Hospital for Children in Colombo. He graduated MBBS with second-class upper division honors from the university with distinctions in biochemistry and physiology in 1996. Thereafter, he specialized in pediatrics and obtained his MD from the Postgraduate Institute of Medicine in 2002. He researched on nutrition and obtained his PhD in 2010 from the University of Colombo. He received training in clinical nutrition at the University of Queensland, Brisbane, Australia. He also received training in management of post-liver transplant children at Birmingham in Italy. He is one of the leading undergraduate and postgraduate trainers and examiners in pediatrics in the country. His special fields of research include childhood nutrition, growth, and body composition. He is the recipient of grants worth more than 100 million rupees from local as well as international grant organizations, such as the National Science Foundation of Sri Lanka, the National Research Council of Sri Lanka, the International Atomic Energy Authority, and the Gates Foundation. He has supervised 11 PhDs, 3 MPhils, and 15 MDs. He has over 100 publications in peer-reviewed international index journals with an H-index of 18 and over 1,250 citations. He has also read more than 100 conference papers and written 22 book chapters and published 7 books. He has delivered more than 100 invited lectures and 8 orations. He has contributed extensively to technical manuals of the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education. He was the chairperson of the editorial board for development of health and physical education school textbooks for grade 6 through grade 11, both in Sinhala and English, from the year 2014 to 2018. He has received 29 research awards, including the University of Colombo Research Award in 2006, the President's Awards for Research in 2008, 2013, and 2014, and the Committee of Vice Chancellors and Directors Award for the Most Outstanding Senior Researcher in Health Sciences in 2018. This brief citation illustrates the professional life spanning 24 years of an academic, clinician, and researcher par excellence. Vice Chancellor, sir, I present to you Professor Pujitha Vikramasinghe for the conferment of the Faculty of Medicine's Vice Chancellor's Award for Research Excellence.
Vice Chancellor, I have honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of Senate, has resolved that the Faculty of Nursing's Vice Chancellor's Award for Research Excellence be presented to Dr. G.A.S. Premakumar. Dr. G.A.S. Premakumar is a senior lecturer at the Department of Basic Sciences and Social Sciences Faculty of Nursing. Dr. Premakumar received his school education from Royal College, Colombo, and entered the Faculty of Science of University of Colombo and graduated in 1987. He obtained his PhD from University of Colombo in 1996 for his multidisciplinary research on pharmacology, active marine natural products carried out at the Department of Chemistry and Zoology of University of Colombo, WHO Center for Chemical and Biological Sciences, University of Karachi, and Department of Marine Biochemistry, University of Pertanian, Malaysia. He received his postdoctoral training in nutrition biochemistry and health food biotechnology in Japan in 2001 and 2002 under STA postdoctoral fellowship and JSPS invitation fellowship. He has charter in both biology and chemistry. Dr. Premakumar research expands from pharmacology, active marine natural products to medical and aromatic plants, activity-guided isolation, characterization, and pharmacological and physiological basis of molecules of nature, health, food, and nutraceuticals in silico and proteomics, assisted drug leads discovery, bioassays techniques for biological, biochemical, physiological, and pharmacological validations. He has over 375 research publications and scientific communications, 2 books, 4 books chapters, and 2 commercialized patents with 1,523 citation and H index of 18. Under his research and development projects, he has produced 9 MScs, 2 MPhils, and 13 PhDs, and currently 3 MPhil and PhD students are reading for their PhDs under his supervision. On recommendation of academic and research achievements, he has been awarded with Presidential Research Publication Awards, a National SNT Award, Industrial Technology Institute Best Innovative Technology Award, Professor Chandrasena Memorial Award of Institute of Chemistry Lifetime Award, Wait Pro World Innovation Finalist Award 2016, University of Colombo Senate Award for Research Excellence 2017, 2018, and 2019. SLC Award 2019, NSF SUSRED Award 2019, and several fellowships, including prestigious JSPS Invitation Fellowship of Japan. He is a member of several learned societies in the country and life member of Sri Lanka Association for the Advancement of Science, Institute of Biology and Institute of Chemistry, Sri Lanka. He is also a fellow of Institute of Biology and Institute of Chemistry and an elected fellow of National Academy of Science, Sri Lanka. Vice Chancellor, sir, I present Dr. G.S. Premkumara for Vice Chancellor's Award of the Faculty of Nursing.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the Faculty of Science Vice Chancellor's Award for Research Excellence be presented to Professor Rohini De Silva. Professor Rohini De Silva completed her secondary education at Anula Vidyalaya, Nugegoda. She obtained her BSc degree in chemistry with first-class honors from the University of Colombo. She was the recipient of many awards during her undergraduate years. She was awarded the studentship for earning the highest average in the first year examination in biological sciences and was awarded the Dr. C.L. De Silva Memorial Prize for Chemistry for the highest aggregate in the first and second year examinations in chemistry. She was also awarded the Bikaji Fremji Khan Gold Medal for the chemistry for topping the chemistry special batch. She obtained her PhD in organometallic chemistry from the University of Cambridge, United Kingdom. She received the Cambridge University Commonwealth Scholarship and the Overseas Research Student Award during her PhD studies. She was a postdoctoral fellow at the Center for Advanced Microstructures and Devices at the Louisiana State University, USA, where she excelled in the field of material science and nanotechnology. She has won many research awards throughout her career, including the Presidential Award for Research for 6 years and the National Research Award presented by National Science Foundation. She has published over 60 science citation index papers and has 1 US patent and 2 local patents. Her present H-index is 21. She has established a strong collaboration with the School of Pharmacy, University of College London, by obtaining many grants from Royal Society UK. She won a mega grant from the NRC worth $48.5 million in 2017. So far, she has supervised 30 postgraduate students. She is a fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry, UK, and a fellow of the Cambridge Commonwealth Society. Vice Chancellor, sir, I present to you Professor Rohini De Silva for the Faculty of Science Vice Chancellor's Award for Research Excellence. Thank you.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the Institute of Biochemistry, Molecular Biology and Biotechnology Vice Chancellor's Award for Research Excellence be presented to Professor Shiroma Handuneti. Professor Shiroma Handuneti currently holds the Chair of Immunology at the Institute of Biochemistry, Molecular Biology and Biotechnology. Professor Handuneti was the Director, IBMBB, from 2015 to 2021. Professor Handuneti holds a BSc Honours degree from University of Kelaniya and a PhD in Immunology from the University of Colombo. She commenced her career as a researcher at Malaria Research Unit, Department of Parasitology, Faculty of Medicine, University of Colombo in 1983. Professor Handuneti joined the IBMBB as a senior lecturer in immunology in 2005. She was appointed as a professor in immunology in 2015 and as the chair professor of immunology in 2018. Her current research areas include pathogenesis and development and testing of immunodiagnostic for infectious diseases, anti-inflammatory and anti-allergy drug discoveries, immunogenetics, characterization and immunodiagnosis, insect venom allergy. Professor Handuneti has supervised 20 PhDs, 2 MPhil, and currently training further 9 MPhil and PhD students. Since 2005 onwards, she has supervised 50 master's research studies and currently supervising 4 MSc studies. Professor Handuneti has received many awards for her research, including 10 President Research Award and 3 NRC Merit Awards, Sustrad Award from NSF in 2014 and in 2017, NSF Award for Research Excellence in Health Sciences in 2017, Vice Chancellor's Research Award in 2015, and University of Colombo Senate Research Award in 2016 and 2017. Professor Handuneti is immediate past president of the Allergy and Immunology Society of Sri Lanka and a fellow of the Institute of Biology, Sri Lanka. She has served as a member of Technical Advisory Committee of Rollback Malaria Program in Sri Lanka and a member of NSF Biotechnology Committee. She has published extensively in peer-reviewed index journals and has H-index of 29, I-10 index of 50. Vice Chancellor, Sir, I present Professor Shiroma Handuneti for the conferment of Vice Chancellor's Award for Research Excellence for Institute of Biochemistry, Molecular Biology and Biotechnology.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the Institute of Indigenous Medicine Vice Chancellor's Award for the Research Excellence be presented to Senior Professor E.R.H.S.S. Edrivira. Professor Sujata Edrivira obtained the Diploma in Ayurveda Medicine and Surgery from University of Colombo, and she obtained her postgraduate degree, Doctor of Medicine in Kaya Chikitsa, with specialization in Panchakarma from Benares Hindu University, India, and her PhD from University of Peradeniya. Professor Edrivira was a medical officer of Department of Ayurveda since 1984, and she joined University of Colombo as assistant lecturer in 1990. She was promoted as a professor in 2009 and senior professor in Ayurveda 2017. She was honored as the first female professor in the field of Ayurveda. She was also appointed as the honorary consultant physician in Panchakarma and Kaya Chikitsa since 2004. During her research career, she was supervised many undergraduate students and postgraduate students, and she has also published more than 260 abstracts and research papers in local and international peer-reviewed journals. She also served as a chief editor, member of editorial board of several local and international index journals. She served as the chairperson of the Board of Study Ayurveda for 2012 15 MD program, and she was the chairperson of Ethics Review Committee, Institute of Indigenous Medicine, and she served as the head of the unit Nidana Chikitsa, Institute of Indigenous Medicine. Professor Edrivira is also a visiting lecturer in Panchakarma in University of Jaffna and Gampaha Wickramarachchi Ayurveda Institute, University of Kelaniya. She was a recipient of the Vice Chancellor's Award for Research Excellence in 2018 and Senate Award for the Excellence in Research 2018. Vice Chancellor, sir, now I have honor to present Professor Sujata Edrivira for the conferment of the Vice Chancellor's Award in Research Excellence.
Vice Chancellor, I have the honor to announce that the Council of the University of Colombo, on the recommendation of the Senate, has resolved that the Postgraduate Institute of Medicine Vice Chancellor's Award for Research Excellence be presented to Professor Senaka Rajapaksha. Professor Senaka Rajapaksha is the Chair Professor of Clinical Medicine in the Faculty of Medicine of the University of Colombo. He is also the Director of the Postgraduate Institute of Medicine of our university. He is an honorary consultant physician at the National Hospital of Sri Lanka. He graduated MBBS with first-class honors from the University of Colombo, with 11 distinctions and many prizes and medals, including the Andrew Caldecott Gold Medal for the final MBBS in the year 1993. Thereafter, he specialized in general medicine and obtained his MD from the PGIM in 1999 and the membership of the Royal Colleges of Physicians of the United Kingdom in the year 2002. Today, he is a fellow of both the Royal College of Physicians of London and the Royal College of Physicians of Edinburgh. He reached the pinnacle of his career when he was elected the president of the Ceylon College of Physicians in the year 2021. He is an academic leader, much sought after clinician, and one of the leading medical researchers in our country, having been ranked among the world's top 2% of scientists in the 2020 list of outstanding researchers prepared by Elsevier and Stanford University. He has over 150 publications in peer-reviewed international journals with an H index of 38, an I-10 index of 86, and over 4,800 citations. He has received numerous President's Awards for research, I think every year since it was founded. The Vice Chancellor's Award for Research in the year 2017, and the University of Colombo Research Awards in the years 2000, 2012, and 2015. He also received the Committee of Vice Chancellors and Directors Award for the Most Outstanding Senior Researcher in Health Sciences in 2016. In recognition of his scientific achievements, he was elected a Fellow of the National Academy of Sciences of Sri Lanka in the year 2021. This brief citation illustrates the professional life spanning 29 years of an academic, clinician, and researcher par excellence. Vice Chancellor, sir, I have the pleasure to introduce to you Professor Senaka Rajapaksha for the Vice Chancellor's Award for the Institute of Postgraduate Medicine. Vice Chancellor, Registrar, fellow academics, graduates, distinguished invitees, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the guest of honor this evening, Ambassador Hideaki Musukoshi, the Ambassador of Japan to Sri Lanka. Ambassador Musukoshi graduated with a Bachelor's of Arts from the Faculty of Law of the University of Tokyo in 1985. Thereafter, he joined the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Government of Japan in the same year. He had an illustrious career in the ministry, serving in various divisions. Some of the posts he held included Director of the International Counterterrorism Cooperation Division of the Foreign Policy Bureau, Director of the International Peace Cooperation Division of the Foreign Policy Bureau, Director of the First Southeast Asia Division of the Asian and Oceanian Affairs Bureau, Director and later Director General of the Intelligence and Analysis Service, Deputy Director General of the Foreign Policy Bureau, and Assistant Vice Minister of the Minister's Secretariat and Global Issues Cooperation Division. In between, he also served as the special advisor to the governor of Tokyo on foreign affairs. During his career, he had various special assignments in numerous Japanese missions overseas. These included the following. He was the first secretary in the Embassy of Japan in the Republic of Korea from 1996 to 1999. The first secretary in the Embassy of Japan in France from 1999 to 2001. The counselor and thereafter the minister in the Embassy of Japan in the Republic of Korea from 2007 to 2011. The minister in the Embassy of Japan in USA from 2011 to 2014. He assumed duties as the ambassador of Japan to Sri Lanka in November 2021. This year, the year when we mark the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between Japan and Sri Lanka, it is a privilege for the university to have the ambassador at the grand finale of our postgraduate convocation. Ambassador, I would like to invite you to take the floor and address the audience.
Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne, Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo, Honorable Professor G.L. Piris, former Foreign Minister, Deans and Professors, distinguished faculty members, graduates, and their proud parents, all the respectable participants, ladies and gentlemen. Ayuboang, Wanakam, good evening, and konbanwa. It is no less than my great honor to stand here on this auspicious occasion, the final session of the ceremonial graduation of the University of Colombo, and to give a few words for the future torchbearers of this country. I wish to thank our good old friend, Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne, Vice Chancellor of the University of Colombo, for extending myself this valuable opportunity and honor, side by side with Professor G.L. Piris, former Foreign Minister, who himself had served as the Vice Chancellor of this most acclaimed university in Sri Lanka. I would like to begin by expressing my heartfelt congratulations to not only those who are present here, but also for those who could not be present because of the shortage of fuel or other reasons from the economic crisis of this country, for earning the certificate to fulfill your future, which is attestation of many years of hard work and dedication. Ladies and gentlemen, today I was asked to give a word of encouragement on building your careers and a message upon your departure towards greater chapters of your life. Come to think of it, I was also once a student like yourselves in the law faculty of University of Tokyo, brimming with new hopes and growing aspirations. There have been various good memories in my university days. I will introduce just one episode of my university days that I still cherish. As a student belonging to a seminar on international law, I was chosen as a member of a Japanese team to compete in the JESUP International Moot Court competition. It was a worldwide competition of law school students on a hypothetical case in the International Court of Justice, and it was held in Washington, D.C. We competed with students of many other countries and made friends with them and had a very good time together after the competition. Although we did not rank high in the competition, this experience of arguing on international problems and also making friends with foreign students led me to my career in the international relations, namely a diplomat. Over the course of my long career that extends nearly 40 years, as have been introduced, I had served in various countries, including France, South Korea, and the United States, before assuming ambassadorship in this beautiful island country. During each tenure, as well as during my services in Tokyo, I was given a variety of opportunities to see the world, interact with people with different cultural background, and witness the historic events with my own eyes, including perhaps what Sri Lanka has been going through recently. Ladies and gentlemen, Sri Lanka is now in a serious economic crisis. A Japanese word that connotes crisis, in Japanese, kiki, is composed of two opposing Chinese characters. One means danger, and the other is opportunity. The implication encapsulated in this contradiction is also pronounced in the famous saying by Sir Winston Churchill, which is phrased in the following lines. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. In these times of growing uncertainty, this word of wisdom echoes even louder and clearer in our hearts, casting the glowing light on the path that we should follow, while giving us a critical hint to face the impending challenges. The shimmering light of hope, which is the strength of the optimist, as Sir Winston Churchill suggests, comes from strong self-confidence that stems both from within and without oneself. What I mean by this is that the key to perceiving the world optimistically is to cultivate one's insight that enables you to make the right choices at the right moments, and to create far-reaching networks by making tight and resilient friendship with mutual respect and trust. The academic certificates you receive today, which shall assure your self-confidence most enduringly, would not only empower you to achieve your professional excellence, but also promise you to unfold the rising horizons of your life. Ladies and gentlemen, the most familiar and distinguished figure who inspires to such greater vista of life is none other than Vice Chancellor H.D. Karunaratne himself, who clearly sees his expansive horizon furthering academic progress of his motherland, while strengthening scholarly interactions with Japan, Sri Lanka, in particular between those among the future generations. After obtaining PhD in economics from prestigious Nagoya University in Japan, Senior Professor Karunaratne earned high reputation through his vigorous academic pursuit and commitment over the course of many great years. He has written more than 100 publications on Japanese growth model alone, while delivering a series of lectures in the leading universities, both in Japan and Sri Lanka. Since 2020, Senior Professor Karunaratne has also been serving as the director of the University of Tokyo Sri Lanka office, whose aim is to invigorate academic exchanges between Japan and Sri Lanka by creating stronger currency amongst the top students in this island nation to pursue higher education in Japan. Despite being confronted by a chain of challenges since its inception, immediately facing the global pandemic of COVID-19 and the current economic crisis, Senior Professor Karunaratne has been conducting more than 50 seminars every year, both physical and virtual, to reach out to the students far and wide, all island-wide. One would wonder whether he ever gets the time to sleep. But such is his dedication that makes us realize that when your path is enlightened, the sense of time is lost. Recognizing his outstanding contribution, the government of Japan has announced the conferment of Foreign Minister's Commendation on Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne as a token of its unmitigated appreciation. Ladies and gentlemen, today, while availing this auspicious opportunity, I take great pleasure in decorating Senior Professor Karunaratne with this special honor, which would also symbolize our excellent bilateral relationship, marking the 70th anniversary of its diplomatic journey this year. Under Senior Professor Karunaratne's insightful guidance, I am beyond all doubts that our academic interactions will further grow from strength to strength, and by following his spirit, many more next H.D. Karunaratne shall be born from the University of Colombo in their respective pursuits. I look forward to working even more closely with Senior Professor H.D. Karunaratne, as well as the faculty, staff, and students to further cementing our relationship with Common Horizon in sight. On this note, I wish to conclude my remarks by reiterating my sincere appreciation for having me here today, and by extending all graduates we have just taken their first step towards their own horizon, my very best wishes. Congratulations on your happy commencement day. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the plaque which is now being presented to Professor Karunaratne, it says Certificate of Commendation. Minister for Foreign Affairs of Japan extends his deepest regards to Senior Professor Hettige Don Karunaratne in recognition of his distinguished service in promoting mutual understanding between Japan and Sri Lanka, contributing to the friendship and goodwill between Japan and other nations. Awarded on the 20th day, the eighth month and third year of Reiwa, that is 2021. Motegi Toshimutsu, Minister for Foreign Affairs of Japan.
Your Excellency, we have a small gift from the University of Colombo. Your Excellency, I take special thanks for your presence in the University of Colombo convocation. I now declare the current session of the year 2019 ceremonial conferment of the postgraduate degrees University of Colombo closed. Thank you.